Meantime, Georgia saying something, shutting out Arkansas, dogs and hogs. And look, Chip had the under in this game. Tom Fornelli had the under in this game. Danny Cannell had the under in this game because it was exactly what you guys said. They would get to a comfortable point, total points, and then they just run the football and drain the clock. And that's exactly what happens. Georgia's defense allowing less than 5 points per game. Chip, what kind of statement did the Dogs make today?
The kind of statement that should have us questioning, even given the result in Tuscaloosa, whether Georgia deserves that number 1 beside its name and not the number 2. We are going to spend a lot of this week discussing about the distance between Alabama and Georgia and everyone else. And frankly, I'm more interested about the distance between number 1 and number 2. I think when the AP voters turn in their ballots, we will still have Alabama at number 1 and Georgia at number 2. But the sheer dominance in this game without your starting quarterback. I mean, what a luxury if you're Kirby Smart to be able to lean on the nation's best defense and go throw Stetson Bennett IV out there. And the mailman has come up big, and he's become a little bit of a folk hero for this Georgia football program. But when you look at the play calls and the game plan that was put in place for Georgia against Arkansas, you might as well have had some grainy film and had this thing in black and white, because we were throwing this thing back to leather helmets and 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and the Bulldogs still never left a doubt. I love the way this Georgia team plays right now, and I think the big takeaway for me is, we talk about Alabama 1, Georgia 2. Maybe we should start discussing whether that should be flipped.
I tell you, Chip, Georgia's getting my number 1 vote in our CBS 130. And look, this has come, it's a long time coming. They're the most complete team in college football. Now, Alabama went into the Ole Miss game. We didn't know if they could run the football. And then at the very end, they let up. And Nick Saban was very unhappy about that with Jamie Erdahl after the game. We didn't see that with Georgia against Arkansas. They didn't let up defensively. In fact, they looked exactly the same late in the fourth quarter as they did in the first quarter. So to me, you look at Georgia, A, they can run the football. B, they can throw the football even with Stetson Bennett. Now, today I understand, understandably, they did not throw that much because they didn't have to. But Stetson Bennett also was co-offensive player of the week in week 2 against a pretty good UAB defense. And then on top of that, we know nobody can move the football against them. They're the most complete team through 5 weeks of the season. Alabama definitely showed they can be that team, but there's still a few things they have to work out. Now, granted, you're talking about Georgia and Alabama. Basically, you're talking about which $50 steak tastes better or which ice cream flavor tastes better. They're all good. And then there's a big drop-off to whatever else you eat afterwards. But right now, Georgia's the most complete team in football.
I know BMAC loves the defense. I mean, allowing less than 5 points per game. I mean, the Dogs are eating, and they're just absolutely tearing everybody up. BMAC, somebody came up with this idea. They tweeted at me. They said, how about we just do Georgia and Alabama best of 3 in the college football playoff?
We might as well. I mean, college football is all about Georgia and Alabama right now. It's their world. Everyone else is just living right now. They're the most complete teams, the most physical teams. They're so well coached, and they win the games they're supposed to win, and they do it with style points. So me personally, in the SEC, it's kind of unfair because if you're LSU, if you're A&M, if you're Florida, you really don't stand a chance unless they beat themselves. That's it. Unless they come out and just have crazy penalties, a lot of turnovers, you do not stand a chance because they recruit the best players in college football. It doesn't matter where they are, and they go to a situation where they get well developed. And for us, it's sad because we got to wait so many weeks before they potentially could face off if they all take care of their business when it comes to winning ball games, but we believe they will do so. But when you talk about this, I think this is probably the closest I've seen Georgia be to Alabama, because over the last few years, there was a big gap at the most important position between these two teams at the quarterback spot. When they had Tua, when they had Mac Jones. Now you got an up-and-coming player in Bryce Young, but he lacks the experience that some of the other guys had that I just mentioned. And because of that and the way how Georgia's defense is playing, you may feel like they got a legit shot, right? Because this is the best defense that Kirby Smart has had throughout his time coaching there in Athens. I would say that right now, and I would bang my fist on the table time and time again in saying that. But the issue that I have, guys, talking about these two teams, one team has a player at the quarterback position that will play on Sunday for sure. And he probably will be a first-round selection. The other team, I don't know if you quite can say that just yet. And when you're playing good on good, usually the difference is outside of the coaching, the quarterback play. And we saw that today in Tuscaloosa with Bryce Young outplaying Matt Corral. So that could be something that we will monitor, but right now it's a feel-good story for Georgia because they're doing some big-time things, especially on the defensive side.
Yeah, B-Mac, speaking of the quarterback situation, Kirby Smart, he's unsure when JT Daniels will return from the lat sprain. But if you got a defense like that allowing 5 points per game, the quarterback can just really manage the game. That's what Stetson Bennett did on this afternoon.
Until they play Alabama.
Yep.
There's no managing until they play Alabama.
You got some time.
Yeah, you got some time.
We're the first Saturday in October. We got some time. We don't need to get till December. So we got to play out the schedule. That's exciting, right? I know we want to always talk about like Alabama and Georgia is going to be automatic. They're just going to run the table. But these are college kids. I mean, B-Mac, you know this better than anybody. I mean, any given Saturday or Thursday or Friday night, I mean, and you could lose a game.
And not when you play under Coach Saban, who's the ultimate bellwether.
You picked against him today.
I know, and it's my fault. I'm not smart. I'm not smart. Barrett picked against them also. So me and Barrett, we're on the short bus right now. We're not smart at all.
I don't know what you're looking at somebody else.
No. And it's Hakeem's fault because he allowed me to do so, and I won't do it again.
Maybe
so
next
whatever
time,
the line.
I'll just make sure. I'll say, B-Mac, are you sure that you want to take the points with the dog here? Next, I'll make sure I check you again.
No, you know what it was, Hakeem? The Cleveland Brown in you came out because you don't want to see a Steeler be great. You don't want to see a Steeler be great. So you had ulterior motives.
I want you to be great. I want to see you be great every Saturday and every Sunday and every day.
I learned.
I want you to have a day, kid. I want everybody to have a day, kid. Everybody.
I won't
Barrett,
go
Chip,
against St.
B-Mac.
Nick again.
Great stuff as always. Bryant McFadden, Chip Patterson, Barrett, Sallee. Hey, for all things college football, check out the Cover 3 podcast. Chip Patterson joined by Tom Fornelli, Danny Cannell, Bud Elliott as they take you from National Signing Day to the National Championship with in-depth analysis. Every week during the season, you'll get picks against the spread. Loyal listeners will tell you it's one of the best podcasts on the market. The Cover 3 podcast. Download and subscribe today.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.